This is Good Morning Delhi with Chris.
Chuck Berry with Johnny Be Good, and it is 8 minutes past 9. I hope you like that little addition of the two of them. We coupled Men at Work's Be Good Johnny and Johnny Be Good together. So if any Johnnies out there, you know what you have to do today. All right, joining me in the studio this morning, I've got Mr. Dilip Shenoy, MD and CEO of National Skill Development Corporation. And it's a public-private partnership, and the objective is to skill 150 million people in our country by year 2022 by fostering private sector investment and initiatives in training and skill development in 20 high-growth sectors and the unorganized segments. So that's a pretty tall glass of pressure, isn't it? Good morning, Dilip. Thank you for joining me on the show this morning.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me here. And yes, it is a pretty tall order. 150 million doesn't seem like a touchable, feelable number, It actually means 45,000 people being certified and graduated every day for the next 10 years, 365 days, 24/7. And that's the challenge.
So, how did NSDC come about? Let's talk about the origins and what was the whole point of it.
It's interesting because if you look at the time was 2008, and they were looking at what would India be at 75. That is, India would be 75 years young in 2022. So suddenly we came to find that there were going to be 800 million kids in the working age group, and 200 million may be graduates. So what would the skill that the other 500 million people possess? And when they did a survey of what were the skill development opportunities in India at that point of time, only 3 million seats a year were there. So if you wanted to give a skill to the 500 million people over 10 years, you had to take 3 million to 50 million to be able to get everybody skilled. Now, what is a skill? DJing is a skill.
Yeah.
RJing is a skill.
Sure.
Right? Being a good customer service associate is a skill. An equity trader is a skill. So it's beyond what you learn in college or engineering.
Right.
So the first challenge was, how do you take the 3 million to 50 million? The second was, there was a huge disconnect between the world of education and the world of work.
Sure.
Only 4% of graduates can be employed.
Yeah, we've all experienced it, right? You finish your college degree, you go looking for work, and you suddenly find none of that matters. It's a different ballgame.
Yeah, so a lot of the listeners out there would have actually experienced them themselves. Yes. Some of them would have been smart to go to an NIIT or go to a accounting firm or go to another organization and pick up a skill, and they suddenly found that doors and windows were opening for them, and they got a great opportunity to get into corporate India or even become their own entrepreneurs or take up their own vocation. So that's the idea, to give everybody something on education plus a skill. So how do you develop competent people? What is a competency? A competent person who's got knowledge, which education gives you, skills, right, which you learn, and attitude. So if you want to be an RJ, you need an attitude like yours.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought that's sweet of you. But anyway, we're going to have some more conversation with Dilip Shenoy, MD and CEO, National Skill Development Corporation. And of course, we're talking about skills, we're talking about attitude, we're talking about the competencies that you require to get on your way, right, to earning a living. These are prudent questions. These are critical questions. We take great pride in the fact that we're a young country, but now that we are, what do we do with them? So stick around. We're going to be having some more conversation right here. Coming up, I've got the music that you love, the Jacksons with Can You Feel It? Of course you can. Britney Spears also with Ooh La La, coming up. My daughter's favorite song. I hope she's listening. This morning, it is 12 minutes past 9. This is Good Morning Delhi.
This is Good Morning Delhi with Chris.
Radio 1. The Jacksons with Can You Feel It? It is 9:23, and of course, in the studio with me this morning on a Monday morning like today, Dilip Shenoy, MD and CEO, National Skill Development Corporation. And like I was telling you, NSDC is a public-private partnership, and the objective is to skill 150 million people in India by year 2022. Like we were talking, that's a pretty stiff challenge, right, Dilip? It is. So, we spoke about the objectives of NSDC. So, is this aimed at a particular section of the population, or is this something that, how does one even, begin to get the benefit here?
Okay, it's really aimed at the young people from 18 to 35, but doesn't preclude people above 35. It aims at anybody with or without an education qualification, with or without a job, who wants to take a program, a skill development program, that would lead to a certificate recognized by the employer, right? Okay. And then takes up a job or becomes an entrepreneur. But there's another exciting opportunity in this, right? And that's of young kids who want to set up skill development initiatives and actually transform others' lives. Like the telecom revolution earlier, or the IT revolution before that, or the manufacturing revolution, the chemicals, and that time. Skill development and training for skill. Imagine we've got to set up training capacity for about 45 million people a year. It is also an entrepreneurial opportunity. Yes, it is. And if you are there and you have the vision and let's say the spunk, and you want to take up a challenge, skill development is an alternative entrepreneurship ability or channel that is available. So NSDC actually also funds, right? Entities, gives a soft loan, takes equity, helps individuals set up scalable skill develesment centers. So we have a lot of, at least 20-25 entrepreneurs who are first generation entrepreneurs who have set up skill development centers across the country. Okay, so before I get into how does a regular person avail of these facilities, right, that NSDC is putting up, can you tell us what exactly can we expect from the NSDC? So if one were to talk about the tangibles, what were they? So there are three separate things that we are doing. The first is that we are trying to align all the skill development initiatives to the job market and to the industry. Reducing the gap between the world of work and the world of education. Right. This is done through setting up sector skill councils that are sort of guilds. Kids would know it as guilds. I mean, the Chartered Accountants is association is like a sector skill council. Right. The second is we are helping entrepreneurs, like I just explained, set up sustainable skill development initiatives so that we can take skill development courses to the to the large number of youth across Delhi and the country. The third which we have just started is how do we actually, if you take the number one chart, blurred lines, right? That's the number one international song. So how do you remove the blur between a degree and a skill? And how do you make skill more attractive? So what we have launched is a new initiative called STAR, which is the industry group sets a standard. You can go and get trained, you can get assessed, and you get reward. More about that later. We're going to come back and talk about STAR some more. Stay tuned, because I'm here with Dilip Shenoy, MD, CEO, National Skill Development Corporation. And you will also get the music that you love right here on your favorite radio station. Bruce Springsteen coming up with... That one's called Glory Days, and it's coming up. Also, Amy McDonald with... This is the life. If this is the life, I could get used to this. It's coming up.
This is Good Morning Delhi with Chris.
Radio 1. The Boss Man with Glory Days. Hope you like that one. It's 9:38, and of course, in the studio with me this morning, joining me on the show, I've got Dilip Shenoy, MD and CEO, National Skill Development Corporation. You were earlier with SCM, right? Dilip, for a good number of years, and that would have been such a different ball game from what you're doing now at the NSDC. So how did you prepare yourself for, because this is a huge target. So how did you prepare yourself for this big change from that to this? And how has this been rewarding for you?
If you look at Siam was, dealing with the automotive industry, but Siam had a very small component of what we call the Society of Automotive Fitness and Environment, which trained drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got onto the board of NSDC,
Okay.
a lot of people felt that the experience that I haven't had in SIM,
Mm-hmm.
and with the challenge of getting a CEO for the new organization,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of gently cajoled into moving into
Okay.
NSDC.
Gently.
NSDC is really about transforming the lives of millions of people, and it gets you onto the grassroots, gets you in touch with people in places like Parlakamundi, which is in the Naxalit area in Orissa,
Wow.
or if you go into interior Andhra, beyond Vizag, Gudivada near Vijayawada, or takes you into Gurdaspur in Punjab. Takes you into the interiors of Maharashtra. So this is about,
You're talking to the young there.
yeah, you're just
What are
interacting.
they
with-
telling you?
So the young actually have aspirations, and they, one thing that radio and television has done is created an urbanization of the mind. So the young kids have access to everything that is going around the world, and they have aspirations. They want to make it big. Some of them don't see continuing traditions of being an agricultural farmer or being, and they want new avenues. They
Right.
want to become RJs. They want to become chefs, which, they want to become photographers.
Right.
Vocations that is creating a challenge for parents to accept.
Right.
So I think the best, the message to all parents is let your kids do what they aspire to and dream to do, and let them love the job that they're doing, rather than forcing them, as they say in Three Idiots, to becoming a doctor or an engineer,
Yeah.
like that. So I think the first kids have aspiration. Second, kids want, to cut the time that it takes to acquire a skill. Not many of them want to spend 3 to 4 years in engineering and ending up going up nowhere. They'd rather spend time in learning a skill that gives them an opportunity to work. And then they want the work environment to actually reflect their attitude and their
Yeah, because I
aspiration.
think today with the amount of time and the things that we got to get doing, it's screaming for, I think, economy on time. Right? We have to be more economical with our time. So if you're going to spend typically 15 years to be formally educated and, then you get into skill training, that seems like an awful lot of time.
You have to do both things. You have to actually integrate skill development, which is being done through National Skills Qualification Framework, into your program, education program. Or you've got to provide an opportunity for young kids to learn early morning, late evening, go and join a class, and actually get them to get a certificate, which in case they think of dropping out and they don't want to, become a researcher or do a PhD or become a teacher, helps them connect with the world of work,
Right.
so that they get a job in an area that they like, and gets them respect in society. So, one thing is be skilled, be independent,
Yeah.
So in Hindi they would say, hunar hai to qadar hai.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's the way, you have to position the whole skill thing.
Okay.
And I think what we are doing now is actually enabling kids to go and choose a center which is giving a course through an approved agency which has set standards by industry.
Right.
And if you go in for a services skill or a manufacturing skill,
Right.
after completing the thing and getting a certificate, you get a reward of up to 10,000 rupees.
Wow.
So this is a new initiative.
Star.
The STAR scheme, which is standards, training,
Okay.
assessment, and reward.
Okay, we're going to come back and talk some more with Dilip Shenoy, MD CEO, National Skill Development Corporation, to ask you whether, hey, is this for everybody? And how do you sign up? Stay tuned for that. Coming up right now, I've got Sugar Babes with the song.
7 hours since you went up.
That one's called Hole in the Head. Not a pretty one, but it's a great song, and it's coming up right here on 94.3 Radio 1. It is 9:43 right now.
This is Good Morning Delhi with Chris.
Sugar Babes with Hole in the Head. It is 9:50, and of course we're talking about putting things into you, which is what the NSDC is aiming to do. And I've got Dilip Shenoy, MD and CEO of NSDC, with me in the studio this morning, and they've got a really big objective, a big target, which is to skill 150 million people in our country by 2022 in the age group of
18 to 35.
yeah, 18 to 35. And that's a rather tall order. How are you doing on that target, by the way?
Yeah, last year we did 400,000 people.
Uh-huh.
This year we are planning to do 1 million. Next year we try to double that number there. But you know, the big challenge is getting all of the listeners out there interested in skills.
Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people must be like, hey, you know what, I've got a college education, I'm alright, I'm doing okay, I'm going to head on my own. But is this for everybody? Can everyone avail of this?
Yeah, this is for everybody in the age group. There is no economic barrier, there is no class or caste barrier. Anybody with or without education, with or without a job, can sign up to a skill development program, get a certificate from an approved training provider, and guess what? You know, there is a reward for doing it, and there's an average of about 10,000 rupees for you for the taking. And if you want to know more, just give a missed call. Even that doesn't cost you, actually. If you give a missed call to 909243075455, you can ask the person there what skill, where, what is the cost, and how you could claim your reward, and you know, what are the job opportunities that you would have after you complete the skill. And this is really the STAR program. Otherwise, you could also go to the NSDC website, nsdcindia.org, and find out where the nearest training provider is. And interestingly, the government now has a loan scheme for vocational training, so you can go to a bank and get a loan. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can get an unsecured loan to join a skill development program and pay it back once you have the job. So it's a great opportunity. You can follow your dream, you can follow your passion, you can do what you want to do, and you can do it actually without becoming a burden on your parents or on your colleagues. Because there's reward, and there's monetary reward at the end of it, and there is possibly, if you go, a job at the end of it.
So we've been talking about this. As a matter of fact, Dilip, we had a campaign called Youth Incorporated, where we were trying to incite, we're trying to enlist, trying to encourage, motivate, support the youth of our country by, you know, putting forward, you know, these great. Shikhar Dhawan was our last ambassador. Before that, Virat Kohli, talking about how they pursued their dreams and the things that they went through, and maybe sharing some of what they had experienced, and maybe, you know, try and connect with the youth of our country. So, you know, I'm asking you this question now. So when you talk about skills, what kind of things are we talking about here? What kind of areas can one get into with the NSDC?
So skills could be at one level a welder in the automotive industry, could be an automotive sales representative, could be a security guard if you look at one end, could be a security analyst, could be a high-end CAD/CAM designer, a graphic designer, you know, a radio jockey, a disc jockey. It just depends. There is a Media and Entertainment Skills Council which is looking at job opportunities in the media and entertainment space.
Right.
It is chaired by Kamal Hassan. You know, the auto one is chaired by Dr. Goenka.
Awesome.
Okay. The health one is chaired by Dr. Trehan.
Right.
So these are the people who are leading the initiatives to try and get people, you know, skilled according to the needs of the industry.
Right. Competencies have been mapped and everything.
Yeah, there are. If you just go to the NSDC website, you will see 167 jobs mapped there. You will see more coming up every day, because this is a constantly moving target. It is a constantly emerging opportunity for the young and for all of you listeners to actually be a part of this. You could even do a beauty course, get certified, and do it out of home.
Wow.
You know, so it depends. There's nothing which preventing you from realizing your skill and your dream, other than the inertia of picking up the phone and connecting.
Gosh,
or going to a
pick
website.
up that phone, 092430755455. All right, National Skill Development Corporation. Thank you for coming into the studio this morning, Dilip. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me here.
All right. Coming up right now, I've got Depeche Mode with... This one's called Just Can't Get Enough, and it's one of my favorite songs from the band Depeche Mode. Coming up after the ad break. Stay tuned. I've got a whole lot more on the show. You know that.